I love just that freedom of, particularly if I get up really early in the morning and I get to Richmond Park when there aren't that many people there, and I can go and just push myself to that point where you can hardly breathe, you're getting to the top of the hill, and then you kind of look and you can just see like the sunrise usually, then you're kind of going down the hill, and it's that feeling like actually you are totally in control, and that kind of like massive release of just knowing that you are actually quite strong and yeah, have total freedom. I'm Nikki Emerson, I'm Business Development Manager at the Premier League. Is essentially anything that brings in commercial revenue that isn't broadcast at the Premier League. When I first started, that was largely sponsorship, but now we're looking at everything. So we look at licensing, retail, Premier League experiences, and my biggest project, which is probably 90% of my time at the moment, is the ePremier League, so our new esports league. I love how varied it is. So I enjoy the kind of buzz of doing a deal and bringing in a new sponsor. But I love that equally I'll be, working on a website for the ePremier League or a logo design, and then going and looking at, what should the Premier League be selling in a store? How should we be working with our clubs to help Wolverhampton Wanderers bring in the same amount of revenue from our side as Man United do? Breaking my back helped me to focus. So my parents will quite happily say that if I hadn't have broken my back, I probably would have failed my degree. I wasn't doing very well at it. Sort of the goal for me had always been to get into Oxford. And then once I got there, I didn't really do any work. I found it really hard to get my head around the idea that I was disabled, but I found it really easy to tell everyone that I was going to be a Paralympic athlete. And having London 2012 coming around was great because they were putting quite a lot of funding into finding young people who were sporty anyway and trying to quite quickly fast track them to being proper athletes. So I was immediately put onto a British athletics programme called Fast Track Power and Performance, which sounded very cool. That for me just meant I could channel myself into having a goal. And even if I didn't have the rest of my life figured out and I had no idea how I was going to live in London and do everything in a wheelchair, I could say, well, actually, it's cool because I'm going to be in the Paralympics and that side of things, so I sort of felt like I was achieving something. I did actually email every sport that I saw on the Paralympics while I was in hospital, because that was the time I was in hospital during the Paralympics. I emailed all the sports and said, can I have a go? And it was athletics and rowing that came back to me, so that's why I'd had that one go in a race chair, met my coach, and that was that. I used to sprint. I started off doing 200, 400 and 800 metres for GB, which was excellent. Then I had a sort of very brief comeback for Commonwealth Games, so I raced the 1500 metres in the marathon. But now I've been trying to move away from athletics, so I've been trying to do other sports. So I did Ride London on a borrowed bike, and then I did swim serpentine. So I'm on the board of London Marathon events, that's why I wanted to do those three. And so I think now that I've done London Marathon, swim serpentine and Ride London, I've got my big London Classics medal, I feel like maybe I should try an actual triathlon and put them together, so that's probably the goal. I'm always motivated to prove myself. I hate thinking that it's because I'm a disabled woman, but actually some of that, it has to psychologically have an impact. I do sport every day, not because every day I want to do it. Some days the last thing I want to do is do exercise, but I feel like if I haven't done it, I've slightly failed that day. And the same with going into work. I'm always one of the first in the office. Even though there's no requirement for me to do that, I kind of want to be there to prove that I'm working hard and I'm achieving the same as the boys. So yeah, it's not great. I mean, it doesn't reflect that well, I guess, on the industry, or definitely on me, that that's the way I am, but that's probably what motivates me, is it's a bit of proving myself. But at the weekend it's the total opposite. Just stay in bed.